take them home or leave them here until
I'm going to leave them here because I'm always here.
Okay.
But I sent pictures to my sister and everything. Oh, do you need me to? Hi, you guys. Welcome to Medium Rare with Lisa. Sorry, I was smelling my beautiful flowers that Julie Alongi is here with us. She is my special guest. She's a phenomenal medium. She brought me this beautiful bouquet of flowers, and they smell so good. And I just keep smelling them. Thank you. Welcome. And she goes by Jules. So when I say Jules, if you like Lisa, that's not her name. She goes by Jules, so that's what I can say.
Right.
So how are you?
Good, very good, thank you.
How, for people who don't know you, tell us your story and how you got this gift.
I think that, I was thinking about it, knowing coming here today, I think that divinity took away the physical and gave me the metaphysical.
Okay.
In my life, I've overcome so many different health problems. One being a remedial form of polio, and I didn't walk properly until I was 8.
Amazing.
And I've recovered from 2 forms of cancer twice in my life. And I believe that because I couldn't walk properly, because I couldn't communicate in a regular way to people, I can tell you that it made me be more calm. It made me go inward. I talked full sentences at 9 months.
Wow, really?
I think it had something to do, I started life early. I was 3 months early. Supposed to be born in February, and I was born in late November.
Okay.
And I think that had something to do with it too. Like I said, he took away the physical and gave me the metaphysical. I don't know any other way of being. Spirituality, metaphysics, psychic phenomena, clairvoyance, whatever table you want to put it under, it's a way of being for me. It's not just, yes, I do sessions for people, but it's a way of life. It's not just the way to earn a living for me. And it's a gift. It's a gift that I take deep responsibility for.
Now, you have a charity that we're going to touch on a little bit later, but you have a very special story with that, with Saint Therese.
Yes.
So do you want to touch base a little bit on that? Because it's a great story of when you were little and she came to visit you.
Well, she visited me nightly when I was bedridden with not being able to use my legs properly. And I would see this woman at the end of my bed, and she would say, I'm the rose person. And I just intuitively trusted her. She had gold lights around her. And she said, one day you're going to come to my house in France. Being a little girl, I said, can I come now? And she said, no, it's when you're much older and you're able to be able to know who I am. She said, you know, when you're much older, you're going to help children that are going to come to me, come to heaven. I said, I don't know what you mean. She said, oh, you will when you're much older. Now, Saint Therese was canonized in 1925, and she's co-patroness of France. Luckily, I had been to her shrine twice.
Wow.
I was crying this week because of Notre Dame Cathedral, the situation. I had the honor of being in that place, which I can't even put into words the beauty of Notre Dame. But anytime you go to any church in France, on one side is Saint Therese, on the other is Saint Joan. They're co-patronesses of France. I didn't know she was Saint Therese. I knew her as exactly how I learned how to walk. I said to her, I'd like to dance like Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. So you'll do that too. I do ballroom dance,
Nice.
Argentine tango.
Nice.
One of the most difficult. If you tell me that I'm not going to be able to do something, I'm going to show you
Absolutely.
how it's done. Later on, we'll get into my not-for-profit, which is dedicated to the spiritual teaching of Saint Therese, which is if you believe and think as a child, you inherit the kingdom of heaven within. Her sign when you pray to her is to give you a rose. When you see a rose or receive a rose after doing your prayer to her, that's her saying, yes, I've completed I'm going to, answer your novena. And so I dedicate my not-for-profit to her, which is called Rose Petals, which deals with children, terminally ill children.
Right. Now, when you pray to her, can you pray to her for anything? Or is there, like I know St. Jude, you pray for certain things. And So you can pray for her for anything.
Anything. She's one of the most powerful saints because she's so simple. Her
Will she
way,
tell me the lottery numbers?
energy-wise, well, I think that if you're determined to win the lottery, that's what people don't understand. We are responsible in many ways for what happens to us. That what we send out is what we get back, the law of cause and effect. Energetically, she never left the cloister of the Carmel in Les Eaux, Normandy, France, but yet she's co-patroness of the missions. So it's just, she was determined to make a difference, and she has made a difference. The way you think affects what happens to you. That's metaphysics to me.
Right.
You know, nobody does anything to you. You are responsible. You're captain of your ship. That's the way to put it. Yeah.
Now, do you speak to spirit? Do you speak to angels? Do you speak when you're giving a reading? Who are you speaking to?
Well, I was born with the ability to see the human aura naturally, which tells me emotionally and physically what's going on with a person. Very often, when someone sits opposite me, I will see. For example, I had a woman. She gave me permission to discuss the story, but she came to me and she's sitting there, and I'm doing the aura, and then she says to me, an aura is a bright light. Any living object has an aura. To me, it shows in colors that frame, that outline the body, and a health problem will show in the aura 2 to 3 months to me before it'll show to you, which I think gives credibility to, if you think about something, it holds in the body somewhere. Energetically, in the aura also, I've seen this woman came to me for a session, and I saw the face of a man on the left side of her aura, and he was weeping. And I just looked at her and I said, "Did you recently lose your husband?"
Oh, wow.
And she said, she started crying, and she said, "Yes." She said, "I'm coming to you." She said, "Because I went to somebody that charged me $1,500 to let me know and she wanted more money, so I gave her $3,000 off of my credit card."
Oh.
She says that he's not happy, where he is. And I thought that when a person goes to heaven, they're happy. And I said, please know that he is happy, that heaven is for real.
Stop giving this
And
person
stop
money.
giving this person money. If anything would make him unhappy is that you're running up your credit card. As in any walk of life, good doctors, bad doctors, you know that story. She was like amazed at the fact that she was like going to his grave every day, hoping that he would give her a sign. And me, I talked a little bit before that. I've had a near-death experience. I had a heart attack at 22, left my body, and I can assure everybody that heaven is for real. I saw relatives when I got to the other, went through the white light.
Please tell us what you saw and what heaven's like.
Because I lifted out of my body. My mother would not stop paddling me, and I said, "Mom," and the first thing you know, I was right in front of her face, and energetically, she said, "Come back to me, Mom, right here." But she couldn't see me and she couldn't hear me. And then I said, "Mom, check this out. Take care of Justin," that's my son's name. "I'm going to go to the other side and check this out." And I went, and I went into the white light, which to this day I'll call an all-knowing, all-loving. So much love that I couldn't even
hear that a lot.
Label it, I wasn't afraid at all.
Now, when you see the light, like, is it? I'm scared to die. I mean, but I am curious to what it's like when you see the light. Like, is it like this huge long tunnel? Are your relatives all right there, like on the side?
I went through the light, went through the tunnel, and then I
there's a
walked
tunnel?
into this huge. To me, it was like a tunnel.
Okay.
And then I walked into this bright green. All the colors popped. There were pastel lights that were shooting up, and because I'm inquisitive, I put my hand in one, and the love in the pastel lights was more in depth than the love in the white light that I went through. And I went, "Gee, I wonder why that feels so intense, but intense great.
Right.
The one thing I noticed that there wasn't the earth plane abrasiveness. There was no fear, there was no doubt, there was no anger, there was no greed, there was no fear. That's the biggest emotion I think on earth plane we all deal with.
Yes.
We all have our own, what we think fear is. And the colors popped, and beautiful. You think these flowers are beautiful. On the other side, the flowers popped. They were great. And I saw my grandfather, but I also saw a man that was a next door neighbor of mine who was extremely mean-spirited, holding one of my cats. I had a Burmese Siamese cat that I bottle fed. He was the runt of the litter. And this man poisoned the cat and killed the cat. And he had the cat in his arms. And he said, "Can you ever forgive me, for doing that?" I said, instantaneously, I forgave him. I held no grudge. I was so glad to see the cat because he was such a pivotal animal in my life. He said, "Would you like to hold the cat?" I said, "Yes." I held the cat, gave him, he said, "I have to take care of the cat now." So he took the cat, and then I saw my grandfather, who I was extremely close to, and he was my ally when I was having psychic experiences, and he was my actual first hospice, I believe, because he was diagnosed when I was 10 years old with terminal lung cancer, and I would visit him every day in the hospital. He would always say if I had a feeling or a dream, come and talk to me about it, because my mother didn't know what to do with me. She was frightened. And I encourage anybody that has a psychic child out there, let them talk.
Right.
Let them feel safe in their environment. They're probably going to tell you something from your family member that you need to hear. And let them talk. Children are extremely psychic beings. They know more than we do.
Yep, I agree.
Because they're not stuck like sometimes we as adults get stuck in. And my grandfather was everything to me. He taught me, we shared and read books about Edgar Cayce, who in my opinion is one of the greatest intuitives ever born. I read a book called There Is a River with him, which is his life story by Thomas Segru, and then I read Edgar Cayce on health, and for anybody that's interested in looking him up, there's a place in Virginia Beach called the ARE.
And there's also an Edgar Cayce. If you're in New York, there's also one here that I know of. Yeah, it's like down there.
Right, Search for God group, whatever, but he is one of the most accurate intuitives. He was known as the sleeping prophet. He did readings for people he didn't even see. They would write him a letter.
Oh, wow.
What does spirit say to overcome this digestive problem? And he would just give natural path remedies to heal. I can honestly tell you that I went through radiation, I went through chemotherapy, I did all those things, but I stopped so that I could, take better care of myself, and I do an alkaline diet as he recommends. I follow the Cayce readings to a T.
Now, he predicted a lot of things too, like Nostradamus and stuff. And one of the things that you had mentioned earlier when we were talking is about putting down all the
devices. In 1945, before he died, he did a reading in which he talked about where people would not be communicating one-on-one like you and I are now.
Right.
That they would be looking down at their hands, looking at devices in their hands, or looking at something in front of them, and it would disconnect them from being more human and kind, and that he didn't envy anybody that had intuitive gifts in this time period of the years 2000 through 2025, that there would be such his words were like anger on the earth plane, and he said that if people took 7 minutes a day before they left their house to meditate or think of things of themselves in a positive way, do an affirmation, that the vibrational energy of the earth would change. Instead
I strongly believe that.
Don't watch the news, don't be willing to text. People don't talk one-on-one.
No,
They're
they don't.
texting now. I don't get that.
Like you're walking across the street and people are holding their phones, and there's no one communicates.
With my website for Rose Petals, I don't do it. I have somebody else do it because it advice. He said anybody with intuitive gifts shouldn't sit in front of a device because of the electromagnetic field and all that. And I can tell you that I know that to be accurate.
It's interesting.
You know,
What is one of your favorite things about having this gift?
and I can help people. That I think I have this gift. My friends call me the street metaphysician. That they, in fact, I have a T-shirt that says "Street Metaphysician." I don't mince words. I think I'm pretty clear in how I communicate a reading. I answer as clearly as I can. It's important for me to help a person. I'm grateful every day for my gift. It's difficult at times because I see auras all the time. I can't help it. I sense spirit all the time. I don't turn it off. I meditate. I pray. I do what I need to do to center myself. I don't really talk that much outside of my office, or if I'm on a hospice ward, I'll talk to the babies that I work with. We'll do bed dancing and sing and that kind of thing. Mainly when I'm home, I'm quiet as a church mouse. I do what Edgar Cayce says to do.
Okay.
I meditate, I pray, I do the things that Edgar Cayce says to do.
What is your thoughts on I can't speak, manifesting? A lot of people, you have Esther Hicks and staying in the vortex and manifesting stuff, and then things don't happen. And how do you suggest to people when they really want something and they manifest it to get it? And if they don't get it, what does that mean?
I can tell you that be careful what you pray for because you'll get it. So make sure that you want to have what you're praying for. The basic law of metaphysics is what I think I become. What I send out is what I get back. Law of cause and effect is very simple. We make it complicated because of our egos. Everybody wants what they want by 10 o'clock on Tuesday. I do a God box letter. I write affirmations. I write as if they're already here. This is a true story about a God box letter. I was short. I do holiday parties for the babies, and I was short quite a bit of money. So I put down, I am receiving by December 17th, when the caterers have to be paid, this amount of money. And I just put it in a little Victorian steamer trunk box on my coffee table in my living room. What people don't know is say what you mean what you say, and let it go. The art of spiritual surrender, people get too caught up in the end result instead of really being involved in cause-effect.
And how do you let it go if it's hard for you? Because I know I struggle with that, and I know a lot of other people do.
People get too in their head, and you can't reach with intellect that which only your gut knows. If your gut tells you something, like the other day I was going to work, my gut said, go the long way to work. So I said, okay, it adds another 10 minutes on the commute because I go the back roads instead of going up this major road. I didn't question it. I did it. When I went up to the side road light, looked down the major road I would have been on, there was a multi-vehicle car crash. So there's no doubt in my mind that spirit or whatever was saying, go the long way to work because we want you to keep your car intact and yourself intact. You know what I mean? I don't overanalyze what I get. I trust. And I think that's where people get, when things don't manifest, there's that instance of not trusting that you will receive. I was born into three-face. I also chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo,
Yeah, I do that too
which
sometimes.
is a Buddhist chant.
Buddhist chant.
And it is totally about the laws of cause and effect. I will sit in front of, I have a cajon zone at home, and I will sit. I've had cajon zone for 35 years.
Wow, yeah, I went to a few meetings.
I do daimoku at least 2 to 3 hours a day. I manifest, I put what I need. When you're dealing with what I'm dealing with my babies, I need a lot. So I do, this God box letter, I put down to the penny what I need, and when I needed it by, December 17th, and a client of mine came in and gave it to me in cash, and I said to this wonderful client who is just one of the finest people I've ever met, not because he donates, but he donates with an open heart, and I say, would you like a letter for tax purposes?
Right.
Because I'm a 501(c)(3). He says, no, what's the sense of saying you gave? Just give.
Right.
Every year, he doesn't know this, but he gives me, most of the time, what I'm short. I never tell him what I'm short, but I put it in my affirmation letter.
Now, sometimes I know I've done that where I've written a certain amount, and I know a lot of people I know have done the same thing. But then they don't get it. Is it because you're not letting go properly, or even in like, you know,
Trust. That's the key. The key is to trust. I relate well to the children that I work with because they trust. I remember this from my son wanted a bicycle. So we had a picture of the bicycle. No, I stand corrected. A skateboard. We had a picture of the skateboard that he wanted on the refrigerator. I noticed what he said to people. He didn't say, see the skateboard I'm going to get for Christmas? See my skateboard, he said. Because, as if it was already here. See my skateboard? Children don't have the blocks that adults make for themselves. Because adults don't trust. We live in a very microwavable society, I believe. I believe that, if we don't, pop it in the microwave and 3 seconds later or 3 minutes later it's ready. Instead of taking the time to nurture the energetics of what you're trying to receive. I can actually, when I chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, I can see an energy coming from the Kohonzon. A white light energy coming from the Kohonzon that goes right to my heart. When I've gone to Lourdes, which I've had a pleasure of doing that, the second trip to France that I made, in front of the grotto, there's white light coming out of that grotto. There's a healing energy there that interacts with us. Miracles happen every day. We are responsible, I believe, for most of the miracles that occur. I think that if you trust, nothing's impossible.
How do you, if you think you're trusting but you're not trusting, how do you get there? So like if I say I need, $5,000 by June 1st, and I put it in there and I let it be and say, okay, universe, but then you don't get it, but you thought you trusted, how do you?
I would be specific in writing the affirmation. I would say I am receiving $5,000 through contacts that I make through my business. I would be really that specific. And this is so because I said so. I was given 3 months to live.
Wow.
When I had cancer. I said to the doctor, you and what army is going to put a toe tag on me? I said it firmer than that, but I'm trying to be a lady here, so in that sense. And I put that on my affirmation. I am healed. Emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Every day and in every way, I am getting better and better. I am responsible for what happens to me. I find it funny that I do readings, and I know that my clients like me. I have clients 35, 40 years, that type of thing. I think of them as a family member. That's how I view them. I can't in any way tell you that I've ever been disappointed by a client. They may have not liked what I had to say to them. Like I can think of one client that, she wanted to be with this person, and I knew this person was the worst thing since peanut butter and jelly, in the sense of like, oh my God, this would be the worst thing for her. And no. Well, it wound up that I ran into her not too long ago, and I was correct that the person did exactly what I thought was going to happen, but she was so mad at me.
Right, because people go to mediums and psychics because they want to hear,
I never go to a psychic. I trust that that divinity works with me every day. I trust that I'm going to be where I'm supposed to be, when I'm supposed to be there, because I believe that everything happens in divine time and by divine design. I know that my loved ones, I'll see them again. I didn't want to come back from my near-death experience. I didn't. I just thought, energetically.
And how did you come back? Did you just, someone
Came right back, and whoop, it was like, overwhelming. They told me that I would be clean of cancer. They told me that I would run Rose Petals, that I would work with these children, and lo and behold, I kind of was like obstinate. Now that I think about it, I shouldn't have been that rude spirit in the sense of saying, no, I'm not going to work with dying children. I can't do that. I can't live without them now.
Right.
They teach me how to live. They're grateful for anything. The questions and stuff that comes out of their mouth is just, I can't even put it into words. Had a 5-year-old ask me to marry him the other day. But this is how he asked me. He said, Jules, how old are you? And I said, married. That's not a question that you ask somebody. A woman, you don't ask a woman their age. I said, but I'm 65. Because you asked, I'm going to tell you, I'm 65. Wheels turning. I love you so much. You look good for 65. Will you marry me? Right?
How sweet.
Yeah.
Very sweet.
Yeah. If people took time to, I'm very grateful for my life. I'm grateful every day. And I'm not trying to be corny. I really, really am grateful. And I'm grateful to talk one-on-one with people. I hate when people have a conversation with me by text. Talk to me in person.
Right.
That's the better way to communicate. And that's what Edgar Cayce was trying to get across.
Right. Do you have any, has anybody ever come to you and said what you said didn't happen? Because I get that a lot too, where I went to this medium and I went to that medium and they said this was going to happen and it didn't happen.
Well, I have gotten where my timing has been off. That I will tell you. I'm real conscious because it's important for me to be responsible for what I say in a reading, and that it's, that I'm being as accurate for the person that I'm giving a reading. My timing is the one thing that I can say is difficult because, well, it's the truth.
Hopefully I'm still having a date on my birthday.
Somebody came to me and said, Jules, I came to you for a reading and everything you said came out, but it was 4 months later than what you said. Okay, it came out. You know what I mean? It was funny because, I share everything. I think all mediums should really want to work together and be together.
I agree.
Nobody knows more than the other. Share what you have. In my father's house, there's many mansions. Everybody should sit at the table. And, that's my greatest wish, that we could all be together and share our bits of knowledge. We know a fraction of what the universe is filled with. And the potential, how well we could be as human beings.
Right.
I mean, we never live up to our potential as human beings.
No, I agree. Let's talk about Rose Petals, because it's a great, beautiful, wonderful organization that you have started and you have done. And tell us how you started it. Tell us all about it so if people want to donate, if they want to reach out to you for anything.
Well, Rose Petals is a not-for-profit. It is a 501(c)(3). All donations are tax deductible. It is the love of my life because St. Therese told me I would work with these children. In my family, there have been several people who have had cancer, and I can't tell you how many times I've been to a radiation treatment or something, and I noticed that family members, children in our family have had cancer and they survived, thank goodness. But I said, I've got to be able to do something to really make a difference. I want to make a difference. I want to do what St. Therese told me. And I basically created Rose Petals as a support system for pediatric family members of pediatric cancer patients. We do anything from putting groceries on the table if they're short, pay rents. We even bury children, and we host special holiday parties. We do, I bought school clothes you know, it depends. A social worker will call me. One time I had this actually happen, and when it comes to fighting for my children, I'll do anything. And I got a call from an hysterical mother that basically said that she was going to be evicted because she didn't pay a parking fee, and because she didn't have it, you know. So how much are you behind? And she said the amount she was behind, and I went to the landlords. I said, you know what she's dealing with? She's dealing with a child that has neuroblastoma, stage 4. This child's not going to be here for the next holiday. Seriously? If you bother her again, you're going to have to deal with me.
Good for you.
My Sicilian went up, and I basically gave him what he needed. But I think that they're the loves of my life. I can't even, they're the loves of my life. The first hospice I had, you will find this interesting. So if you don't mind, I'd like to share this story.
Share.
His name was Marco, and I called him my little bald Buddha. And matter of fact, my earlobe is torn because I used to have pierced ears, and Marco hugged me so tight once he tore the earlobe,
Wow.
and I don't want to fix it. So now I wear clip earrings because he's the first one. And he was mad one day, and he was sitting there like this, like Yul Brynner with the bald head and everything, and he said, "Oh, I'm mad, Julie." He couldn't say my name right. He said, "Julie," and I didn't correct him. "I'm mad. If I could talk to God, I'd ask him why I have cancer. What'd I do to him? I'm only 3. Mad that he was sick. So I teach them how to meditate, and I taught them 1-800-CALL-GOD. Okay? I said, now listen, Mark, I'm going to calm you down. I said, you may not get an answer through this meditation, but it'll calm you down. I'll be back tomorrow and ask God to give you a dream that you will remember upon awakening. You sure you're coming back tomorrow?" He calmed down. He didn't get an immediate answer in the meditation. But the next day I came up the elevator, and there said Marco's room. And I went, and he said, "Julie, what a dream I had." I said, "What'd you dream?" "Well, I asked God to give me a dream why I have cancer and why I'm going to die." And I said, "What God say?" He showed me a picture. He said, I was an SOB in a past life. I was a Roman soldier that killed a lot of people.
Wow.
And I shouldn't have done it. And that's why I have cancer this lifetime. Insistent, and I'm looking around to see if anybody's got Oprah on, or Shirley MacLaine, or something like that. No. "Do you believe me, Julie, right? You believe me." I said, "I do believe you." I said, "Do you understand what you're saying to me?" "Yeah." He said, "I did bad things, and now this lifetime, I have to go through this." A couple hours later, he was gone.
Wow. So with that being said, everybody talks about blueprints and
Yes.
the Akasha records. So
Mhm.
then, does that mean that when he was back up in heaven, he said, "Okay, because I did this, I'm going to come back and I'm going to do this. I'm going to have cancer, and then is that kind of how this works?"
I believe that we know, I think that there are parallel time zones, parallel universes. I think that he chose, when we're in between lifetimes, what's the best way I can learn not to be aggressive, not to be angry, not to do something that's as wrong as he did. And then theory has it, when we come in a physical body, we forget what we learned in between, because if we remembered it, we wouldn't have to. I had a past life regression once done. I had an unexplainable pain in my back. No chiropractor saw anything on x-rays, but I really had bad pain. And I was regressed back, and I was a little girl in World War II, and I saw my parents being separated on a truck in front of me, flew off the truck I was on, and was shot in the back. And,
Wow.
you know, obviously involved in the Holocaust, and I came out of that regression, and I never had the pain again. Now, what I believe that to be an accurate assessment, but that's me.
It's interesting.
Yeah. I think he chose to, in between lifetimes, to have cancer, and he chose to also, I think he also taught his family, every child that I've worked with they really, really have taught their families something about communicating, to love one another. I had another little child, Amy Coco, because she liked the perfume I wear, which is Mademoiselle Coco
My
Chanel.
favorite, yeah.
And so I bought her a little bottle, which is odd because when they go through chemo, their sense of smell is affected. But I asked her mother permission to give her that. You think I gave her gold. And I was afraid because she was 4 when she passed, and may I say the best judge of character. You know, she was a hoot. And I was afraid her parents would divorce after she passed. And they came to my office not too long ago with a new child
Oh,
who
nice.
they named Coco J.
Oh, how beautiful.
And the kid's a bright-eyed, healthy little girl. I was so happy that they honored their baby. They went on, even as difficult as it is. I get a lot of people that have lost people to teen suicide. With your permission, I'd like to, if anybody out there is dealing with a problematic teen, this is what I feel psychics should use their gift for. Direct people to the right sources to heal. There's a wonderful organization, TJ's organization.
Okay.
You know, get to know TJ.org. TJ was a young man who committed suicide at 16. Now, his parents could have been, you know, I'm sure, you know, losing a child is horrific, but losing a child in that manner, well, they created TJ's organization, and they are, I tip my hat to them, because they go to high schools and deal with the teen bullying. Social media, everybody's communicating on social media instead of one-on-one. Kids are being bullied, which causes them to do
Yeah,
unspeakable things.
yeah, it's pretty horrible.
And I applaud those parents.
Pretty horrible. What time? I think we have a few. Do we have time for questions? We don't have monitor on this, so I can't see anybody on this monitor. But if there's any Facebook questions, Matt, can you see if is there any on Instagram, Cindy? No. Okay. No questions?
Do you see this on here?
No.
Is it on?
Mm-mm. No. Sorry.
Technical difficulties.
Technical
Do you have a
difficulty.
question over there? Okay, so we have a question over there.
Danny asks, will I ever be in a relationship with Jim?
Danny's not going to like my answer. My answer is Jim has a lot of things that he's working out, and I have to say no to that.
Now, with that being said, she probably wants to know: is there a man coming forward?
There
do you
is
see
a person coming that will be more a soul, you know, aspect to her, someone that she doesn't have to feel, you know, uncomfortable. There's an edge to Jim that I think doesn't serve her. And I think that Danny is going to meet somebody, and what comes into my mind is a D initial, like for Dennis. I'm not saying Dennis is the name. Usually when I give initial, it's usually the first name or something of that nature. And I feel that my feeling and the timing, I'm trying to get better with my timing. I think by this fall she'll be extremely happy. And I don't feel that happiness will come with Jim, because Jim is not on her level.
Okay. And then, can you see these over here?
Hello.
So like Jennifer asked, is my new
Jennifer Pickard, is my new relationship going to work? Thank you. Jennifer, hello to you, and yes, I do feel that it will work, but it's going to take time. Patience is a virtue, which I'm trying to possess too, Jennifer, and I feel that she should feel more secure with it as she goes towards more the end of July time slot this
Okay.
year. Thank you, Jennifer.
Is there any more on Instagram?
Joanna asked, can Spirit tell me if I'm on the right path spiritually? Thank you.
I think that Joanna, if she feels comfortable within herself And if she just allows the energy to come to her, she is on the right path. She also, I'm getting this real strong, so I'm going to say that she has a lot of energy that comes from Oriental aspect. I feel like she may even have an Oriental spiritual guide.
Okay.
If she and anybody that wants to connect to their messenger guide or spirit guide just sits themselves in a comfortable chair like this and visualize themselves by their favorite place of relaxation and ask, what do I need to know to best move through something, and trust what they get. They're never going to be wrong. Everybody is psychic. The only difference is I don't doubt what I get. I don't analyze what I get. I trust what I get.
Well, your accuracy level from, Liisa, who is how I found you, and from other people is crazy. Like, she's accurate. What she says happens. There's no...
I'm working on timing. I'm working on timing. That's the hardest thing for any.
But I would think that
psychic
because
medium, yeah.
the universe and angels and God, they don't know timing. So if we want
Right.
something to happen tomorrow, they're like, yeah, okay, they don't care. So
Yeah, it's interesting. It's hard to place timing. I will say that.
I think we have time for one more. If there's one more.
Mel Andre asked, does the spirits see my conference going well?
Yes.
And Danny asked, how do we set up private readings with you?
Thank you, Danny. They can. Well, first of all, if they want to look at the Rose Petals site, may I give that website?
Absolutely, please. That's
They
my
can donate. I'm connected with Kevin Bacon's association, the Network for Good, 6 Degrees Network
Okay.
for Good. It's www.rosepetals, one word, -hospice.org, and they can go to the donate button and donate. They can reach me by calling 973-239-8009, which is my office number. I do sessions Monday through Thursday because my weekends are with pediatric hospice. So Monday through Thursday, I'm available for appointment, and I'd be glad to see them. My office is in Verona, New Jersey.
Awesome. Is there anything else that you want to let us know with any events you have coming up, your charity, anything?
I'm ever grateful for the experience. I commend you because
Thank
I know that you started the show because of maybe not so hot experiences with
yeah,
psychics.
that would be the reason.
People that were like that woman I started out telling you who gave a psychic $4,500 via credit card because she told her that the husband wasn't happy in spirit. Energy-wise, for you to be the warrior that you are in the sense of having someone like myself on, the thing and the key that people need to know when going for a reading, I don't advertise, never have had to, it's all by word of mouth, and I love my clients, they're like family members, so I welcome new family members anytime, and you should be commended.
Thank you.
You didn't close your mind, you're opening your mind to new possibilities, which, since you mentioned it too before, chanting Nam Myoho Renge will get your desired results. If you have your affirmation list in front of your garden center, or if you're just sitting in a chair chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. The laws of cause and effect. What I put out is what I get back.
Yep,
Period. Laws of the universe are not complicated. We make it complicated.
We make it complicated, and it's crazy. So, Jules, I am so grateful that you came on today. It was such a pleasure to have you. Thank you again for my beautiful flowers and my necklace. And thank you all for watching. And I will not have a show next week because I will be in LA. And I think I have one the week after. So thank you all for watching. Have a great night. Bye.
Thank you.